The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke, Kevin Price, and Robbie Ross. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, filling in for Robbie Ross on the Ross Report for the week for the games of Week 9, 23-22. So let's jump right into last week's action. Bradwell traveled to Darien to take on MCA. MCA come away winners 40-13. Brantley traveled over to Pierce County in a region opener for both teams. Brantley comes up on the short end of the stick as Pierce wins 49-7. Atlantic Coast, another Florida school, travels up to Chris Gillman Stadium to take on the Camden County Wildcats. The Camden County Wildcats roll, big winners 47-6 over Atlantic Coast. Clinch County and the GHSA travels into GIAA, taking on Frederica Academy over there under the Oaks on St. Simon's Island. Didn't fare too well for the Knights as Clinch comes away big winners 45-6. And Richmond Hill takes a short ride over to Douglas, Georgia, from the coast of Georgia, and doesn't get treated very well as Richmond Hill comes away losers. Coffee wins that game 51-17. Had a crosstown rivalry battle with South Effingham at Effingham. Effingham comes away winners in that game 29-3. We've got Cook traveled to Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis still winless on the season as Cook takes care of the Yellow Jackets 35-14. Liberty travels and plays at Johnson of Savannah. Johnson of Savannah comes away with a 1-point victory over Liberty, 22-21. Savannah Country Day travels to Long County. Long County in the Blue Tide and Coach Mike Feaster are with four wins in a row right now, coming away with another region win, beating Savannah Country Day by a final score of 28-14. You've got Burke County travel to Statesboro, comes away with a 3-point win as Burke wins the game 35-32. Tatnall at Toombs. Toombs rolling right along with only one loss on the season. Toombs comes away with a 2-point victory, 31-29. And Windsor Forest travels over to Vidalia. Vidalia stays perfect on the season with a 5-0 record as Vidalia wins that game 36-16. And then you've got the big game here in the Swamp in Waycross as the Bainbridge Bearcats came in to take on the Ware County Gators. Bainbridge up 16-0 in this game, but the Gators found a way, battled back, come away victors 22-16. And then Wayne traveled over to Jenkins in the Savannah area and come away with a 3-point win. Wayne going 4-1 on the season, come away winners there Friday night, 17-14. And then on the big game of the week there for 912 Sports, the Glen Academy Red Terrors against the Brunswick High Pirates over in the city championship. Brunswick comes away winners, putting the most points on the board ever scored by a Brunswick team in that series. Big winners, 55-21. But that's going to wrap it up for the games of September the 23rd of 22. We'll be right back here with more On Air with 912 Sports following these messages.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robinson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the Swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Hello everybody, Kevin Price for On Air with 912 Sports. This past Friday night, I was out at Glen County Stadium for the annual city championship game between local rivals Brunswick High School and Glen Academy. It was also the Region 2-6A opener for both teams, and Brunswick High rolled to a 55-21 victory over the Red Terrors. It was Brunswick's third straight win in the annual series, so Brunswick goes home with the city championship trophy for the third year in a row after having lost 6 in a row to the Red Terrors before they started on this current win streak that they are now on. But what a night it was for the BHS offense. The 55 points that the Pirates put up in the ball game, the most points ever scored by a Brunswick High team in the long history of this series. They were just 1 point off the all-time high by either team. That, of course, was 56 by the 1973 Glen Academy Red Terrors in the early years of this series, which actually started back in 1968. The 1973 Glen team in the second game between the teams that year actually beat BHS 56-0 at Old Lanier Field, where the teams used to both play their home games before Glen County Stadium was built in the early 80s. But Brunswick also piled up the yards in this game as well. Almost 500 yards of offense, 471 to be exact. 281 yards on the ground, 190 through the air, all 190 passing by junior quarterback J.R. Elkins, who had his best game throwing the football for the Pirates. He was 11 of 17 for the 190 yards and 2 touchdowns. One of the touchdowns you are about to see right now was a 55-yard touchdown pass in the first half to Kevin Thomas, which you see over the middle, a long bomb there in the first half. Again, he had another touchdown pass in the first half, which helped Brunswick build a 28-7 lead at intermission. It was a 30-yarder on a short completion to William Heck out of the backfield. Heck breaks free from a couple of would-be tacklers and carries that ball into the end zone for a 30-yard touchdown completion. But J.R. Elkins was named the Glen County Sports Hall of Fame player of the game. He also went home with the Georgia Farm Bureau Insurance MVP award, as he did a good job leading the BHS offense, spreading that ball around to all of his playmakers and leading the big night for the Pirates. Several ball carriers got in on the action as well to add up all those rushing yards for the Pirates, the 281 on the ground. I think 5 or 6 ball carriers. The leading rusher for BHS, sophomore Jamarius Towns, just 8 carries, 140 yards on the ground. He scored a touchdown. You were about to see perhaps the biggest run of the ball game right here by Towns after Glen Academy had pulled within 28-21 early in the second half. He rips off an 80-yard run down the home sideline, which is the Brunswick High sideline in this game, all the way deep down inside Glen Academy territory. A couple of plays later, William Heck, another sophomore, carries the ball into the end zone for a Pirate touchdown that gives Brunswick some breathing room again, puts them up 35-21, and really the rest was history as Brunswick goes on to the big win. Town scored another touchdown on his own, which you are about to see here later in the game as he sweeps left and carries the ball into the left corner of the end zone for a touchdown. And like I said, he ended up with 140 yards rushing. He was named the offensive MVP for the Pirates in the ball game. Now, the BHS defense has been tough all year, very tough to score against. They had come into the game leading Class 6A in the state of Georgia, giving up just over a touchdown a game. Glenn's 21 points, actually the most given up by the Pirates this year. Glenn scored on a double pass in the first half. The score was 28-7 at intermission. Like I said, Glenn scored in the second half on a tip pass and then a hook and ladder play after getting a short field against Brunswick with Brunswick's only turnover of the ball game. But Brunswick was still stingy against the run, only gave up 35 net yards rushing in the ball game. Kayshawn Thomas, Brunswick's senior leader on the defensive front, who is headed to Wake Forest, had another big ball game up front for BHS on the defensive line, and all of their ball hawking guys were certainly around the football all night. Jordan Jimerson played well. Devin Smith played well. Tavon Gaston actually picked up a fumble early in the ball game for the Pirates on Glenn's first possession and returned it into the end zone for a quick score. And just like that, it was 14-0 BHS. So again, the BHS defense did play well after giving up those 21 points. They locked down on Glenn for the rest of the second half as the Brunswick offense continued to roll, and Brunswick pulled away once again for the win. So Brunswick 5-0 on the season now. They'll get ready tomorrow night to go on the road for the first time this season up to Augusta for a region game against Grovetown. We'll see how the Pirates do actually taking their show on the road for the first time. Glenn now looking to regroup after this emotional loss to the Pirates. A huge ball game tomorrow night at Glenn County Stadium against Effingham in Region 2 6A action. This is a pivotal game for both teams as they look to maybe stay in the running for first place behind the Pirates should Brunswick slip up. Effingham still, of course, gets a shot at the Pirates. Glenn needs this game to possibly stay in the running for second place in the home game in the first round of the playoffs. So a huge game for Glen Academy, especially after already having the loss to BHS. We'll see if the Red Terriers can regroup against the Rebels tomorrow night at home. Glen has now lost 3 in a row since the 2-0 start. And, of course, they are 0-1 in the region going into that game tomorrow night against Effingham between the bricks. If the cards fall as they may, or as we hope they do, I will be out at Glen County Stadium for that game tomorrow night, and I'll have a recap of the action between the Rebels and the Terriers right here on air with 912 Sports next week. So, for 912 Sports, I'm Kevin Price.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by head writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, Sean. I mean, obviously, we're here in the last week of September. The calendar switches to October on Saturday, but looks like old Mother Nature is going to throw a monkey wrench into the situation once again, and don't Doesn't look like we're going to make it through a high school football season yet again without a tropical storm, hurricane, whatever it's going to be. So this week it looks like we're having a high school football game hurricane party with that, which actually started last night because some of the games on the docket for this week looks like they got moved to Wednesday night. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe Saturday, we're going to have high school football games galore.
Exactly. And that's what we want to tell everybody. Listen, we're going to tell you what we know today while we're taping this, but that don't mean it's going to be reality. So please check with your local listings on a day-to-day basis. Just like these guys that are tracking this hurricane coming out of the Gulf, they don't really know where it's going to go and when it's going to be where it's going to be. We don't really know about these games, so we're going to tell you what we know. But we're going to start off with the game of the week, Appling at Pierce County. Kevin, we got a couple of undefeated teams going at it. This is a game that historically has played to game 10, last game of the season. Talked to Coach Herron today. This was a region thing. Really, neither coach had any say over this. They did almost like a matrix thing where you basically drew a schedule number out of the box, and whatever schedule you got, whether it was 1 through 8, that was the schedule you played, and that's the reason why this game is in week 2 now, or week 2 of region play, as opposed to the last region game. But these are two really, really good football teams, Kevin, going to tie up at Jimmy Swain Stadium in Baxley. Right now, Coach is adamant they're going to play Friday night, barring a lightning storm, so they may be playing in a torrential downpour and 45-mile-an-hour winds, but they're scheduled to play Friday night as of right now. But two really good football teams going to go at it there in Baxley.
Yeah, you got that word that come hell or high water, this game was going to be Friday night, and we'll see if that does
if that
stick.
stands.
That's what they want to do, but Mother Nature again may throw a monkey wrench into that situation. But Appling hasn't played as much football as Pierce to this point. Whether that's an advantage or disadvantage, I don't know. Appling, 2-1 on the season. This will be their first region game. Pierce 5-0 on the year. Of course, played their region opener last week, beat Brantley County. But when you look at some of the numbers, we could go on and on about this game, but Pierce has scored at least 30 points in every game this season. Appling has only given up 31, of course. That's only in 3 games, but that's about, obviously 10 a game. So we know that Appling's really good on defense, but so is Pierce. They're an offensive juggernaut. The one game that stands out to me, Sean, and I don't want to put too much into it because it was a rivalry game as well, but 7-0, Appling County and Wayne County. Appling did not score at all in that ball game, and that concerns me a little bit about their offense against the Pierce team that also is really good on defense. And Pierce has had Appling's number in this ball game. They've won 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. Pierce has won 4 in a row. Appling has not won this game since 2017 when they beat the Bears 13-11. That's a mental thing. That's right here. Can Appling get over it? It's much like Georgia, Florida, when Spurrier was kicking Georgia's butt left and right. Every time it seemed like Georgia would mess up, screw up. Here we go again. That mentality sets in. Appling has to get over that. Will this be the year?
Exactly, and they get him at home. They get him on that new turf field, so we'll see how it all shakes out. But it's going to be an interesting one there in Baxley. But we'll move right along. We've got East Lawrence going to travel to Bacon County. That'll be Bacon County. See if they can get another one in the W column. Bradwell will be open. Bradwell's still winless on the season, so they may need a time to kind of recharge and see if they can get back on the right side of the ledger column. Kevin, we were going to talk about Toombs and Brantley County, another big region game. This is a game, and when you guys are watching this, has already been played. This game's scheduled for Wednesday night now, so we'll see what shakes out there. But Toombs and Brantley, a good one, going to have been played down there in Caney Bay.
Yeah, Toombs went into that game 4-1. Brantley was 3-2. And again, Toombs a good defensive football team. Had only given up 51 points going into that ball game, so you kind of had to feel like Brantley was going to have to keep that score down to have a chance to win. Brantley started off like a house of fire. Won 3 games in a row over lesser competition, lost their last 2, including that game against Pierce the other night. That was a game they were going to have to flush and put that one down the toilet and get ready in a hurry, of course, for Toombs. And that could have been as big as anything, Sean, who could get ready in a hurry to play that game. That's a whole different animal playing Wednesday instead of playing on Friday. That's 48 hours in advance, and you got to get all your prep work done in 3 days when they're used to having 4, and that can be a difference. And obviously we know now who handled that better.
Right, exactly. So we'll see what happened there. But Brunswick's going to go to Grovetown. So Brunswick got to go on the road, coming off that big win in the city championship, putting up 55 points. Kevin, the most points that's ever been scored in that series by Brunswick. So now can they keep their focus as they go on the road to play another region game here in Grovetown? Don't know a whole lot about Grovetown, Kevin, but again, it's going to be Garrett Grady's job to keep these guys focused and to keep them to play within themselves.
Yeah, Grovetown, does have athletes. They're defending state champion in basketball in Class 6A. I think some of those players do play football, but now we'll see if Brunswick can travel. I mean, that's really an issue here. Have not been on the road, and of course they are going to be heavy favorites in this game, coming off the emotional win against Glenn. So we'll see how it all adds up. But I think it adds up to another BHS win.
Yeah, I think so too. But it'll be interesting to see if they, like I said, can play within themselves and not get too far ahead of their surfboard there. But anyway, we're going to go down to Camden. Camden's going to be open this week, so they're not playing. But another big game, Charlton's got to go to Dublin. Now, I believe this is a region game for Charlton in that new region that they're in. So this is going to be an important one. Dublin, a historic program, Kevin. Championships galore. Big wing T school. So Coach Charlton's going to have to play that that assignment football to stay on top of that wing T offense. And Camden I'll get it right in a minute. Charlton kind of licking their wounds after that last time they were on the field, and Pierce put a drumming on them. I think that final was 46-13 or whatever it was, but a solid victory there by Pierce. So Charlton's going to have to shake that off and go try to play and win a region game here.
Yeah, a long road trip from the swamp over there in Folkestone to Dublin. That's number one, so they have to handle that. Dublin may not be the juggernaut they once were. These two teams met in a championship game, I guess, what was it, maybe middle, like 2006, 7, 8, somewhere in there.
Yeah, somewhere in the mid-2000s.
And not long after that, they quit having championship games, Indian ties as well. That was on a beautiful Saturday afternoon in Middle Georgia. I actually went to that game with a couple of buddies of mine, but Dublin, I think 2-2 on the season. You're right. They ran the wing T, so you got to play disciplined football against that. Coach Roger Holmes, who was there or is there, I guess, as a disciple of that offense. It's time for the real Charlton team to show back up, Sean. They weren't themselves against University Christian here in Brunswick in that Border Classic, playing without their starting quarterback. Pierce is beating everybody, so you just have to get rid of that one as well. But it's time for the Charlton County Indians to show back up and put their real team back on the field and be the Charlton team that we know they can be. And let's see if they can go on the road and win a big region game.
Exactly. And it'll be interesting to see who's under center. If Jalen King comes back, plays in this game, he's had 2 weeks to get better now. So I look for him to be back up under center and see if Charlton can get back in the W column. But Clinch is going to be open this week. Coffee's going to be open this week. Got a lot of teams, Kevin, that are open right now. So we'll get to more of that on the other side of the break here. But we're going to take a few pause for a few minutes, pay a few bills. But we'll be right back here with the rest of the preview for 9:30-22. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Welcome back, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. We're going to continue on here with our 9:30 preview of games. Do have a big game coming up between Effingham and Glenn there at Glenn County Stadium. Glenn coming off that loss to Brunswick in the city championship. Glenn 2-3, Effingham 3-2, playing a lot better football right now. Come off that big win off their crosstown rival. They were able to get the win against South Effingham, but it's going to be a good one there between the bricks there Friday night, Kevin, if y'all get a chance to play.
Yeah, a real key game in the region. If you look at the whole big picture of things and the way things might shake out in the end, this outcome could be real important in the grand scheme of things, really for both teams. I know Glenn is done with Brunswick now. Brunswick, of course, the front runner to repeat as a region champion. Regardless of what happens here with Effingham, they'll still get a shot at Brunswick at the end of the season. But this is just my opinion, nobody else's. But when you look at the region standings, Brunswick should hold serve, I think, and go ahead and run out the string. That's just my opinion. And then you're looking at scores and whatnot, and I feel like in some order, the number 2, 3, and 4 teams in the playoffs are going to be Effingham, Glenn, and Evans. From what I understand now from talking to Coach Rock, and I don't think he will lie to me about this, just playing up Effingham, but he said they are really, really good on defense. For Glenn, Sean, they're going to have to obviously play good defense in this game, something they did not do Friday. They knew they were going to have to hold that score down either under 20 or in the 20s to have a chance to win. It sounds like with Effingham being just as good as Brunswick or right there close, it's going to be the same kind of thing. They're going to have that same formula, that same recipe to win. They might not score a lot of points in this game. And then offensively, Sean, they've got to be able to hold on to the football. And it's not just their young kids turning the ball over, it's some of their older kids turning the ball over. Ball security is key. They lost the Creekside game because they turned it over 3 times, and Creekside scored on all 3 of those turnovers. The other night against Brunswick, I'm not saying that turnovers necessarily decided the game, but they did not help Glenn. They turned the ball over, gave Brunswick a short field. You can't do that against anybody, particularly a team like Brunswick. That was the worst thing they could do. You need to make a team like Brunswick drive 70, 80, 90 yards on you, and they gave it to the Pirates several times on their side of the 50. So Glenn's got to do a better job there as well. So Glenn's got a lot to clean up in a short time, and we'll see if they can do it. But sounds like Effingham might be the favorite on Glenn's home field. Glenn needs to stop the bleeding, and they need to do it fast.
Yeah, like I said, try to get back in that W column. Sitting there at 2-3, could go 0-2 if they drop this one Friday night in the region. That's not where you want to start. But look, we'll move on, Kevin. Frederica Tatnall Square is supposed to play at Frederica. We're getting word that this game may be moved to Wednesday. As of right now, that hasn't taken place, but there is talk about that. So check your local listings. That game may have already been played by the time you see this. Jeff Davis is going to go over to Berrien. Chance for Jeff Davis to get a win. Still winless on the season. Berrien's, is still a good quality team, but probably the best opportunity they've had so far to put one in the W column will be this Friday night. Liberty at Groves. I think Liberty can get back on the winning side. Lost a really, really close game this past Friday night, but I think they've got a chance. And then Long County, Kevin, what do we say now? Long County is now 4 in a row for Long. So Coach Mike Fisher's doing a great job over there with the Blue Tide. Got a chance to go win 5 straight here, but it's going to have to go on the road to Savannah Christian, and we know they have. That's a quality football team. Been doing it the right way for a long time. So we'll see if Coach Fisher and them can stay. This is another region game for them, so they definitely need to try to win it. And then here we've got another game, Kevin, that we've already been told is being moved to Wednesday, and that is McIntosh at Atkinson County. So the Buccaneers going to go on the road. This game have already been played, so that'll be one a Wednesday game. One of the several games that it looks like are getting moved to Wednesday. And then another one we're going to talk about here: Benedictine at New Hampstead. Benedictine comes in this contest, Kevin, 3-2 on the season. New Hampstead 4-1, lost a tough game to Richmond Hill at Richmond Hill's place with an opportunity to win it, but it got away from them, didn't get it done. This is a region game, but like I said, Benedictine coming off a big win against Bowles, a school that Brunswick played earlier in that Border War Classic. Benedictine was able to beat Bowles 26-7. So this Benedictine is a very, very good quality team, even though they got 2 losses on the season. So going to be an uphill climb for the Phoenix.
Benedictine, make no mistake about it, a really good team on both sides of the ball. Playmakers on offense, obviously a pretty good defense as well. And they're the front runner in that region. So, they need to hold serve. But then these are good big games for teams like New Hampstead And then, Burke County and Wayne, we're going to talk about all those teams. That's kind of like the region I talked about, everybody trying to take their shot at Brunswick, then move on and see how they do against each other. All those teams, if they were to lose the Benedictine, the shakeout could be who gets number 2 based on how they do against each other. And that's very well, I think, going to be the case for the teams we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, and Wayne County, they got out of that region with Warner Robinson, Ware, and Coffee, and teams like that. And oh, behold, they get into with Burke, with Benedictine, and with New Hampstead. So there's some quality people in that 4A region that they got in with as well. But we'll move on to Richmond Hill. Richmond Hill is going to be open this week. South Effingham is going to be open this week. Statesboro is going to be open this week. Vidalia is going to be open this week. A lot of teams aren't playing this week, so the weather may be coming in
I guess it's a good time to have a hurricane. Yeah.
Exactly. Good time for a hurricane to come through, because there's a bunch of schools that it's not going to affect. Ware County is going to be open. So, again, a lot of schools not playing this Friday night. And like I said, it's probably a good thing with the weather that we've got coming. But your aforementioned game there, Kevin, that you talked about, Burke and Wayne County, this is going to be a really, really good a football game. Burke's got to travel down to JC Stadium in Jessup to play the Wayne County Yellow Jackets. Both of these teams coming off of slim 3-point wins. Wayne beat Jenkins, and then Burke beat Statesboro. I think Burke beat Statesboro 35-32, and then Wayne beat Jenkins by like 17-14. But the thing that concerns me, Kevin, we saw all these scores that Wayne had. I know they only scored 7 against Appam, but these other teams they played, they were able to put up a lot of points. We know their quarterback went down, and then this week, they can only muster up 17 points. So is that going to be a factor with those guys as they get into region play, not having their signal caller? And that's kind of got me a little bit concerned for the Wayne County Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, and I'm sure Coach J-Bo Shaw is concerned too. I mean, he started the freshman for a reason. I mean, number one, he's talented, but they were going to go ahead and go with him because they felt like he gave them the best shot to win, and this year would be a learning experience for him, and they would be a year ahead in terms of his development and with him running that spread offense that they want to run. And so now, they've got to do just what they're capable of and maybe rely on that defense, a little more than maybe they wanted to originally. I don't know that they can afford necessarily to get in shootouts with teams, but the Fuller kid is going to be relied on as well to carry the ball for the Jackets. And he's already been one of our players of the week this year, so they'll turn to him and rely on him even more. Might have to play more field position the day when we're used to, and just maybe old school, maybe like some old Wayne County teams used to play it, and maybe not necessarily 3 yards in a cloud of dust, but line up behind a big offensive line and punt the ball if you have to, and play good defense and get physical with folks. But it's still a winnable game playing there at JC Stadium. Burke's got to make the trip. Burke's a solid football team. I mean, they're 5-0. Statesboro, I don't know if I'd read too much into that high, score over the 30s there, because Statesboro's not very good defensively, apparently. But still, Burke beat them. They beat some solid football teams if you look at their non-region schedule. So this will be another challenge for the Jackets. And again, New Hampstead is going to take their shot at Benedictine this week. I think Burke gets them next week. Wayne County is going to get their shot later on down the line. But these games between the rest of them, New Hampstead, Burke, Wayne County, they're going to line up in some kind of order, come to postseason. And these head-to-head matchups are going to decide how it all shakes out.
Exactly. Very, very important games. But that's going to wrap it up for the 9/30/22 preview here. Everybody stay safe. Ian's coming in some shape, form, or fashion. Wherever you are in our coverage area, you're going to get some of it. Like I said, we just hope that it's not, not terrible. I hope it don't come ashore as a Category 2 or anything like that. Maybe by the time it gets to us, it'll just be a rainstorm. But like I said, it is coming. So check your local listings. Like I said, we know a lot of these games are going to get changed and move around. But appreciate everybody watching. And we'll be right back here with more On Air with 912 Sports right after these messages.
Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.